to order. Everyone please rise. This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Harvey for the invocation.
I'll ask Brother Bob Hampton, our County Treasurer, to please pray for us this morning.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you with grateful hearts. We're so thankful for this beautiful weather that you've given us, the rain that we've had Sunday, and the ability to go and worship you. Thank you for the privilege of remembering Easter and the fact that your resurrected Son gives us all hope. Thank you for this court. We ask you to bless the members of it. Help us to do our part in making this county the very best that you want us to be. Lord, thank you for this country that you've provided. Help us always to remember that along with that blessing we have responsibilities. Thank you for the privilege of being Texans. Help us to live up to that wonderful reputation that we have. Guide and direct us through this day and through this court. Help us all to do the things that would be not only pleasing, but something that you'd be proud of. All this we ask in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Y'all join me in pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take a seat, please. I'd ask the court to take action on the consent agenda. I do want to pull item 10 down as general business.
Motion to approve consent agenda, Jim.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any comments from anyone in the audience on the consent agenda items? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
How about the court?
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
the
sorry.
audience, let's
Sorry.
do the court next.
Yeah.
Let's talk just a minute about item 8 and whether or not we should be spending county funds in TxDOT right of ways. I mean, I just wish I would know a little bit more about this.
Let me, I'm
Go ahead,
having
brother.
trouble booting. Give me 1 second, Lee, and
Well, understand it's not in the right of way, Commissioner.
Well, then why are we doing it? If it's on private property, why on earth are we doing it? Period. I don't understand.
well, I mean, what we're doing is trying to eliminate the flooding that's got all those houses messed up out there. And they fixed the problem a long time ago, and it slowly came around to erode the solution that they had. And so what they're requesting, the people of that community, is that we assist them with cleaning out that waterway that was built to alleviate that pressure off of that intersection. And can you see, Lee, in your mind, there's a big cement ditch on the north side of 240 that
Yes, there is. I see
okay,
it.
so that plays a role in it, and the state came in there and did that portion. The problem is that the natural flow wants to turn due east before it gets down to that intersection. And so what they did is they built that waterway and took it across just down the edge of a property. It's not huge waterway, but they took it across property right against a fence row and tied it into an existing waterway that was built on farther down. And so it goes, I would say, 600-800 yards of waterway until it is tied into a second waterway that carries it on to Adams Creek. The second portion of that waterway, every bit that long, if not longer, is under that farm program Terrace, and Joe just called, I talked with him Thursday, and they had just got approved to have rework that, is what the deal was there, so.
Well, if they're getting the government assistance to do that, I mean, why would they? I don't understand, this is two state highways that, and then private property has absolutely nothing to do with county tax dollars. It's only, you know, I think it's blindsided me. I wanna help people, but we're not gonna get up on 287 or I-44 or 1739 or anything like that and do stuff like that.
Well, you do
Can't we just work with TxDOT to try to help solve this? I mean, can't we do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, TxDOT, and they pay a little bit of that north, but why clean out Gilbert Creek if it's impacting 287? Why don't the
Well, the county's
TxDOT
not
do
doing
it? Do what?
The county's not doing it, we're just trying to facilitate someone else do it, like, the Corps of Engineers is who we're talking to. We're just trying to help facilitate that and not spend any county tax dollars on it. I just think we're just outside
Well,
our realm here.
if there's, and I guess we have, just because it's flooding those citizens, but if it's the two highways, I am concerned. What we did, one project I'm aware of, we developed an agreement and we took an option to be able to clean a deal over on Turkey Ranch Road because we couldn't get the water out of our ditches without improving that waterway. So that gave us the ability to have that agreement developed and then do that.
Where is, that's on by, you mean the one that's Parker Ranch Road, Turkey Ranch Road?
Yes, sir. It's just down about a half mile down and going to the east. We opened that up, we double barreled all of that. That's been 30, no, not quite 30 years ago, but about 20 years ago, that we did that project in there. But we did it by virtue of getting an easement with the landowner and to relieve the flooding in our ditches. Otherwise, it's the same kind of problem that Commissioner Muller is dealing with out there off Wellington. Those people would love for him to come there and clean all that, and he'd like to do that, but we don't have the authority to do that unless it is impeding those roadways.
Our roadways.
Yeah.
That's the only, I just think there's some legal issues there.
Well, I mean, that's why, that's what that work is, that you're seeing. The Meredith has put together Jonathan to do the sign off on all that stuff, and one thing he requested of us was that all the landowners sign accordingly so we'd be within our rights.
Well, but I think there's a point in the fact that it's not county roadways that we're clearing that problem. And it's just like the thing I told you about a while ago, the lady in the man in the cremain said, I don't like it. I just have to follow what the law is to do that.
That's my only question. I mean, I know those folks out there, I love them to death, and I wanna help them.
Well, I had a meeting here and there's a standing room only, full house, because said, you gotta do something. I mean, y'all put it in to help us and fix us, and now you never maintained it. And so that's where that evolved from.
Private property.
Do what?
It's private property.
Oh, they understand that very well. And that wasn't an issue, but, you know, those are county taxpayers. They're not
Well,
state
exactly,
taxpayers.
Yeah, I get that, yeah. I don't know. Should we try to just work with TxDOT on this?
Well, yeah, TxDOT says we cleaned out our mouths of our culverts. We've let the water travel from the west to the east, and that's all we're gonna do.
But we need more.
Yeah, and they said, we're not gonna get on private property and do that easement. We're not gonna take
That
it.
sounds like probably pretty smart stuff. I mean, the landowner apparently has done part of it himself, he still needs to sprig it.
Well, it's multiple landowners.
Yeah, multiple. It's Weisenfeld and Eckelkamp are the two predominant ones. There's a poor little old lady there that, she's a aunt to Troy and Mike Gilbert, that lives in that house. That, it starts on her.
Well,
But-
I'd like to pull item 8 down and let us vote on it, because it just, or at least take it under some legal counsel.
Has Meredith given you, I mean, you said she's worked with somebody in developing something here, but I mean, the
Yeah.
issue is, can we legally do that?
That's my only thing.
Oh.
We can legally do it? No, I mean,
No, that's what we're doing is what she's assigned me to do. I had to get those hurdles met before we can touch it. We've not gotten in there and done any work. And our plan was to be geared up for February, but Jonathan's had a hard time. The Echo Camp stuff is divided into 20 airs.
oh gosh.
And so he had to sort it out to get what she needed, all that, what's his face done there? Boyd was, all that he did was, give us the meets and bounds, tell us the fall in the bottom, and, I mean, that, he just did the survey work for it, for the document that Jonathan is building on request of Meredith.
Did they design it? Yeah.
Joe designed it,
Joe designed it.
30, 40 years ago. Judge, do you remember it happening? Was you here?
And I don't think it went through the commissioner's court. I think-
He designed it when he was on staff.
I'm thinking it was like a 79 or 80 model agreement. And it was between NRCS and the county. And then, you know, it's one of the things, or what I used, I told Meredith, and she gave me the legal out on it, was the fact that the document said that if the county no longer controls State Highway 240 and State Highway 25, then we're out off the hook. Well, I said, we made this agreement and we never had that ability. We didn't have, neither road was in our jurisdiction ever.
Well, and I don't think it was ever brought to court.
In other words, the commissioner just did it on his own.
Mhm.
Can
But-
we research that, Nancy, and see if we can find some kind of
See if there was any kind of agreement with
previous deal?
or easement or an easement in that area of State Highway 25 and 240.
I bet there is an agreement.
There's an agreement, no easement.
Yeah.
The easement doesn't exist. We've done all the research on that. There is no easement, and those properties aren't encumbered by an easement. And this does encumber the properties with an easement, but I asked her to be as liberal as she could. If somebody wanted us to go away out there at any point in time, we'd gladly do that.
Are they gonna expect us to clean it out and spring it? Because if you don't spring it, it's just gonna wash out.
Yeah, I'm only getting into the floor of it. And I'm not going to reshape the walls or anything to that nature. I'm just going to get in the bottom with the dozer, and I've got about 200 yard of dirt to move and pull out and take somewhere, and I'll let that thing grow back in with it's heavy Bermuda. It grew well out there, but I won't resprig it. I mean, I think that'll recapture itself.
Well, if you clean the bottom and just roll a little of those edges back in and then pack it down, that is free.
Okay.
Really. I mean, that's what you're really doing.
How
What
much
is
money do
interesting
you
about
think we're gonna
this
spend out there, Jeff?
is there's 5 or 6 different places in the county that are under this same scenario right now, Judge, and you talked about one of them that I'm dealing with right now, as a matter of fact. And in fact, I've got about 3 of them that I'm
Turkey Ranch Road.
watching and trying to figure out what to do.
You talking about?
Well, no, Mark would be Turkey Ranch. Do you know that issue, Mark, or are you familiar with this waterway? Because I've never seen that one. I didn't realize till the judge just said that, about that one on Turkey Ranch. Do you know
We
it?
have some issues on Turkey Ranch.
But do you know the waterway that we put in?
No.
Judge, is it a true easement?
It was run through court, yeah. I can't tell you if it's an easement or an agreement. It's been a little while since.
But it would be okay if it was an agreement,
Yeah,
you know?
But the Jim Allison explained to me, the way you have latitude to do something like that is if the water is not getting away from the county road and you're down, and that's where our problem. But that whole deal there at Turkey Ranch, you know, you're sitting there with that humongous 1,500 foot of drainage coming straight towards that road and those houses. And the Wallmullers that had one of the houses down there, we got excited about that one day and dug a big hole back there, said, I'll catch all that water. I said, "Well, that's real good for the first time." I
Yeah.
said, then what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
They
Well,
just let mosquitoes.
it only impacts me north of 25, when that water, what that water has to
And
do.
You do have impact, but it's not right there at that location.
Right.
There is
yeah.
impact.
Yeah, it's more north of there, when
Where?
you're on Mount Carmel, you know,
Past
the
Mount
Catholic
Carmel.
Cemetery, Lee, up that way. That's where it comes over the road, what it's supposed to do.
North of Kenneth's house.
Yeah.
And there's where he's
Well-
he is impacted there, yeah.
And what happened north of Kenneth, you know, when you jump 25 and go on back up that way and loop around to Mount Carmel and Locke, that water stacks up on Mount Carmel and Locke because it's trying to work its way through a natural drain culvert. And I've been riding a TxDOT on this one. The one down close to the Pumpkin Center intersection, it's adequate. But the one up north on 25, I've called Romer about it now twice because the water's trying to feed itself through there. Not only is the culvert completely grown up, but then it's hitting a pipe fence that they built, a rigid pipe fence across that waterway, which catches all that wheat stubble up north, and it just makes that water stack up, and it can't get out of there. That whole drain right there crossing 25 and supposed to follow a waterway, Lee, around Kenneth's house. And the state has permission on that waterway to get in there and work that one. And I talked to the Brian Moore, and he said that they had obtained that permission. They've just not done anything yet to alleviate that. But all that water that's coming then north off of Mount Carmel and Locke and feeding across there, it comes through that wheat pasture behind Kenneth and south of Kenneth, gets in the bar ditch again and comes down towards the grain elevators right before it gets the grain elevators. Well, it actually goes past the grain elevators and then tries to turn and go due east.
Well, it gets flat right there on the end of
Right.
25 into town, it slows down, then it starts stacking back to the north.
Right.
And that gate that's across that waterway that goes in behind McAllister's house there is stacking residue.
Yeah.
And that pushes it to the intersection.
Yeah.
And it's trying to come down, I mean, it's a mess, it's coming from 3 or 4 different directions.
It can turn, once it builds up high enough on Locke, it can turn and run back east to that next drain down there, but you can't drive through there till it all goes away.
Well, I appreciate all that. I understand all that. I guess, can we table this until we get some more?
Well, sure,
information
yeah.
and stuff on it?
I mean, we're not in a, I do need to pay, but he's not in the bind, so.
Oh, we can pay this bill.
Yeah, we can get
We
married,
know this.
we can get,
did this. We need to pay this bill.
Here's a little lesson in here, friends. We don't go expend that kind of money without, that wasn't in anybody's budget. We have a budget policy that says you don't spend that kind of money without coming through court and getting it. And, you know, I think you've thrown something out that may tie together because of where you're tying in, the water backs up and on those county roads.
That's several miles apart.
Well,
It's
but if it-
still,
okay.
still can be justified if we,
If it is causing that water problem down there.
see what happens out there, Lee, different than in your country and my country. When Barry built waterways in all our country, they went to a channel and that waterway carried it, but people don't do that out in Pumpkin Center and in Electra. What they did was build terraces that carried the water to the bar ditch.
They're using the bar ditch for the.
They're using the bar ditch as a waterway, and it kills us everywhere. And any time we can divert any of that and get it out of that ditch, it just makes for a faster, smoother, get it off of us. Because,
We were out there when it was raining and looked at it extensively, and it does, the problem, Lee, to your point, it does impact county right of way, not at that point, But when it stacks back up, and that's when it impacts the county right away, so.
Just like I said, I love those people out there, and I wanna help them. I just wanna make sure that we do it.
Well, see, I've got a scenario that's somewhat similar, but it's actually quite different. We've got water coming, if we got water coming off of our right of way, creating a problem, and we need to extend that drainage ditch about, 50 yards, which would take it past where it washes through and washes back across the road, and it's affecting TxDOT, and private property and everything else.
But is it our?
It's our road. Yeah, it's our road.
Then what are we waiting on? Go do it.
We're not, we're waiting. on
Well, but
design.
he still has
Got to
to,
get it designed.
he still has to do the same procedure, because he can't go across Johnny Smith and fix our
It's
county
in our right
road.
of way. You didn't say anything about.
No.
It has to
Now,
go
listen,
across
it's
private.
affecting our right of way, but it drains across private property. But it's
So-
our water, all of our right of way.
I
that's
thought you
causing
said we
problems.
just need to take the ditch another 50.
We do, but it's the ditch that drains the right of way, not going down the side of the road.
Yeah,
Oh.
it goes on, it's similar to Turkey
Yeah.
Ranch Road.
But it's our water, it's off our right of way, and it's impacting our road. We got water puddling and washing the road out. And it's an easy fix, but it's, once again, you're getting into
Right.
fuzzy.
Well, you know,
territory.
and I would have never, just growing up here, I never think about Pumpkin Center being a flood-prone
It's so
area.
flat and it's got sand, but it.
Yeah, and it's just now gotten so worse, that poor lady there, that it's in her house every single time. And I mean, it's in her house knee deep. And it's just because it can't
And she's not in a
escape.
floodplain.
No, it just can't escape. It can't escape quick enough.
It eventually takes it away, it just takes too
Mhm.
long.
This is a bill for expenses already incurred and just for research, so just go ahead and pay it.
I agree.
And I can get Meredith to come and talk us
We
through.
didn't need to have that discussion, we need it for all our.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
But, let's don't do those without coming and first having the legal approval and the second, then we approve the project, if we're gonna follow all the rules. Okay, so leave number 8 where it is.
Yeah, it's just a bill, it's just a bill, and I think that we did incur this expense, we need to pay it. But I just wanna be cautious moving forward.
But, please hear me, we shouldn't have incurred that expense yet until we had the ducks all in a row. Okay. All right, we ready to then take the vote on items 1 through 9. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. I asked to move down item 10, which is a motion to allow assignment of 1 parking space in the Scott Street Annex parking lot designated for the tax assessor collector's employee of the court. He did go to Commissioner Beecham. Commissioner Beecham wanted in charge and thought that was fine. And it's not a bad idea, but then you need to look at how many departments do we have? Are we gonna, if the treasurer says, well, I'd like one of those, I'm gonna recognize my good people. Where are we gonna put these? What kind of selection method is being used? Is there written criteria? How do we decide who, in other words, there ought to be something that puts that in place, that if challenged why Johnny never got employee of the month, then there needs to be some criteria that we use for that selection, and it's not just maybe the department head or the elected official. While it's a good intention, I think it has some problems.
I guess if they'd go over there and get their parking spot at the big parking lot, we wouldn't have no problem.
Well, you know, if you look at that parking lot, it's pretty full, especially the last 5 and first 5 days of the month.
Well, yeah, but,
Most
you
of
know,
our people.
no, that's exactly right, and Mathis, West, and Huffines are yet to receive a bill from us for the parking they use from us every single day.
And the building is across the street.
Mathis West and Huffines has their own parking lot, right to the north of their building and
Yeah.
immediately to the east of their building.
I guarantee you, all those vehicles that are in that parking lot are not at.
No, they're not, they're not at the,
If so, then you couldn't even walk to that building.
There's no control line, there's no signage on it that would control on it.
It'd be easy to, well, I say it'd be easy, it'd be easy employee-wise to do, but it wouldn't be easy customer-wise to do.
If you just did the departments that are right there in the annex, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 different departments, 8, I've got extension. So, yeah,
I'll work with the Human Resources Department to put together a program for employee of the quarter for both the courthouse and the courthouse annex.
Well, but,
well, that is
For
it,
the
the whole, is
for
it,
the whole, yeah, for the whole courthouse.
in the whole annex?
But-
And the additional parking spot at the annex.
So that sign would change to annex employee.
Why would we not just leave that one there and just, since we've already gone down that road, instead of buying a whole new sign,
Well,
just put another one right beside it?
but I'm not, would we necessarily have to do, employee of the quarter in the courthouse here? Or,
Why not recognize our employees who are doing a good job?
put them out front, you think?
Why not?
Mr. Hampton?
Once again, this is kind of like our business cards. This is a department head that wants to recognize his people. That's a real active place over there, and they deal, I mean, it is a dichotomy of people coming and going all day long. And if Tommy wants to recognize somebody, I mean, he's got to approve the space through you guys, I would presume, but why micromanage something like that? If he wants to do it, fine. If another department head wants to do it, you know, and I don't see that happening over here in the courthouse. Everybody's pretty well knows where they're going to park every day because they're out here parking in places where all the employees are parking in customer parking lots. And you and I both know that happened.
No, there are some offices that the office owner actually tells their people not
I
to.
don't think it's a half.
But I think a department head has that ability to come for you guys and say, look, I mean, how courteous. I mean, dang, I'd probably put up a sign without asking you.
Well, and
If
that's.
I felt like I wanted.
There needs to
But
be
it's a
some
department
sense of
head
order.
deal, and so, you know, that's the thing about what's going on here. You guys want to, you know, micromanage every muscle movement. It's a strange deal. It sounds to me like you got problems enough without taking on parking places.
It's called sense of order. And.
Now, Colonel,
Yeah,
please don't.
I'm just telling you.
I've had 3 years of that kind of stuff, but.
I had 38 years and 3 months of it. I'm just saying that we can't have people going and doing that, then somebody puts up the one that says we're gonna have your car towed, there's no court order passing that, who gets the liability of that? There's some things that need to come through the body that sets the policies, and I'm saying this is one of them, I think, will readily grow, not readily, but it's still the fact. You know, we went through this with Mr. Smythe when he all of a sudden slapped signs all over all the buildings, you know, without asking other people in the building that, you know, might say, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got doing business over there with 4 less people, and he's doing a great job. That place is clean. I mean, it's, and those people are greeted with a smile. And when I walk through there, I feel like I'm welcome. And I can't say that for some other departments. And I think
No,
that's,
I take offense to that.
I'm not talking about the county clerk's department.
Okay.
I always feel welcome up there, you know, because you've got great refreshments over there.
It's easy to get
Well,
around.
she lost her ice machine, Bob.
Oh my gosh, well, see there you go.
Just know I don't claim it anymore.
I mean, I really don't have anything good to say about Tommy Smythe, but let me tell you that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you over there. But he's got to approve the place down the road. He's just saying he'd like to do it, and I presume I see the necessity of getting the place approved. That's cool, but we might want to put it over there on that north side. I mean, that whole line is blue.
I agree with that, Bob.
I mean, we got more I believe we've gone overboard there.
Well, there's a calculation.
But Tommy's here, he's
Yeah,
on
you-
talking.
You have this many parking spots, you have to have this
I'm
many,
just saying, I'd like to have some more business cards.
which is all you gotta
You
do
know,
is,
all business cards you want, but to be.
Clear them through you, I know.
no, order through Alexis.
To Alexis.
Okay.
Well, they've gone from $165 for $525. There's some gain in that. They're good-looking cards.
I got no problems.
So I'll make a motion, we approve out of 10 with, Commissioner Beecham putting in place a, what do you wanna call that?
Point a month, point a quarter, whatever.
Yeah, some kind of rule or some kind of guidelines on how you pick that. If you're worried about
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I've got a lot of curiosity, I'm gonna settle here right quick. I didn't appreciate what was said over a while ago, I've been watching. This employee, hold up, Lee, this quarterly award is voted on by our staff. There's nothing arbitrary about me doing it, the department head doing it, the chief deputy doing it. It's all voted by our staff. If little Susie, little Johnny never gets it, it has nothing to do with the operational or administrative aspects of my office. That's what I heard before I came over here. So you can take that smooth out of this argument. It is voted on by their peers. Have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Me and Nikki don't even vote. So you could remove all that plumb out of this argument. Somebody's gonna file a class action lawsuit 6 years from now because they never made employee of the quarter.
Tommy, that's a good thing to help when we put it together. That might be the,
I'll say leave his as it is, we've already done all that.
no, I'm just saying, but we can use that template. You're moving forward that the peers are the one who does it and not the elected official or.
If
And
we
nothing to
don't
do
want
with
it,
it.
if we don't want it to
We did this
escalate from
strictly,
here.
we did this strictly from around. I kinda like what Jeff said a while ago. Well, you know, if you wanna talk about parking being taken up, look at Matthews, West and Huffine.
Okay, does anybody know that for sure, or does that just look like that happened?
They have a big parking lot directly
I know,
across
say
the
they have
front
one.
door of their own building. Why would they park on ours and walk around the block? I don't get that.
How many people visit that building that go to Matthews, West and Huffines that don't work there? So in other words, county parking ends up being / public parking for a private entity. Y'all can beat,
Everything else.
or anything else, Mark, you can beat this to death 27 different ways from Sunday. We did this for morale. Our administration has nothing to do with it. I would encourage it for anybody in county government, but I know realistically, depending on parking around here, if you want, there's 25 or 26 different, divisions in county government, whatever it is, it might get cumbersome. But the thing is, I wanted to do something for morale. It's voted on every 90 days. We have a traveling award plaque that sits at the station for the deputy. Every 90 days, they hand it off to somebody else.
See, and I like that.
It's all based on customer, as a matter of fact, it's a customer service recognition award. That's what's on the plaque. How well they've treated the public. But there's nothing about somebody's gonna stand up at the back of the meeting hall 6 months from now and say, listen, I never got employee of the month. I feel like I've been cheated or robbed. It's all voted on by your peers. That's the way we set the thing up to begin with.
Which I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all have here's my deal, Lee, Jeff, Barry, Mark, y'all got safety awards to some degree. I mean, that, it's almost the same concept. But it's the same
A
concept.
parking spot is a lot less money than a safety award that we get from TAC. So
But
this
that's
is,
administered by TAC.
right, but still, I mean, it's not costing the county anything, we're just designating a spot on the front row to, you know, say thank you for your service to the
Exactly
county.
right.
But what Judge is saying is that if you do it, then the other people are gonna wanna do it, and we're gonna have 7 front rows over there, I'm thinking.
But now,
What's wrong with
now,
7 front rows?
but Lee,
Not really.
No.
I'm just saying, what's wrong with it?
Why is it, I'll take the ball from here, we'll designate one here at the courthouse and an additional one at the annex, or we'll put together a program and start. working on
Recognize our
it.
employees.
But the only problem with that is if you just have one and how many offices are here,
Yeah.
say,
I've
I
got
wanna
an
do it, this
idea,
one wants to do it.
give me a
Okay,
few
I
minutes
mean,
to put it together.
That's the only thing, you're gonna have to think of that.
But-
is
I mean,
Everybody will get their opportunity.
When they're gonna fight over that one parking spot.
but Lee, you argued last time we didn't need any criteria when we approved water for our guys and just let them bring that deal back to court and argue it if they wanted it themselves, and I'm kinda like
That's
that.
the same thing on this.
I don't see our department doing employee of the deal. The Nancy and Joyce call if they know somebody's gonna be gone and get these spots, and Willie never asked anyway, but
This is a pretty easy fix, guys. Give me a week, put something together,
and can you check, Mark, on whether Tommy can use one of them blue spots? I mean, do we have to have as many?
Those are for
we
survivors.
requested additional ones last year,
I'm
so.
I'm gonna tell you something. You weren't here for our last meeting on our remodel. Matthews, West, Harper and Perkins have already told us that all that blue parking that's around the annex, I'm fixing to drop a bomb on it. It's not legal. There's no offset.
That's the ones on Sixth Street, not across the street. That's on Sixth Street.
Sixth Street. All the blue that's adjacent to the building where you do not have an offset, that is not a legal handicap parking. It has the appearance there, but legalistically, it ain't worth the paper it's written on.
There's no ramps.
If you really
Well,
look at it.
that's part of redoing all the sidewalks, Lee, and getting that, you could get that kind of somewhat, there's no ramps and there's no offset.
If you look at the statute, there are numerous handicap parking places all across this city and everywhere else that are not legal handicap parking places.
Anybody on
Depending
Sixth
on the
Street,
sign height and the access and all that, in fact, I pick them out every day. I'll go somewhere and none of them are legal.
anybody on Sixth Street, like what the judge is saying, if you park along the curb and opened up your car door, if you're trying to get around back to get your wheelchair, whatever, you're opening up a door into a traffic lane. There's no offset. There's no offset on Sixth Street, Lee.
But
I can answer the question about designating a parking spot on Sixth Street for employee use. You can't do that.
But no, I'm
We
talking.
can't claim one.
No.
No, I was talking about in the parking lot. I mean, do we have to have, how many is ever there? Did the rule change? Has it
Oh,
migrated? or-
I've talked to Harper Perkins about the handicap parking there, and we meet the standards as far as.
We don't
the parking
exceed the
lot.
standards,
No,
do we?
The east parking lot, we do meet the standards that we're required to for the building side.
Get back to Barry's point though, Jeff, anything along the curb though, it ain't legal. It looks legal. That ain't legal handicap parking.
But that's a city street.
Right, but if we didn't have those across the street, they would tell us either to modify, and the reason we didn't have them across the street, I don't know when they got where they are now. But that old parking lot wouldn't be handicapped, you couldn't even get in and out of it, you couldn't, step over the old foundation, that was on the foundation of those buildings, that wasn't a parking lot. It was used as a parking lot.
That's the reason we had to redo all that stuff.
And-
Way.
Tommy, I've been hustling, trying to, the TIF downtown is wanting to start over there on 8th and redo them sidewalks down there, and I've been trying to convince them that you sit at the hub of downtown, and because I'd love to use some of that money to fix right there. Hadn't got that done yet, but.
Well, the problem is when they designate downtown TIF, the TIF does not come as far as Sixth and Scott. I'm, in a technical definition of a TIF term, even though I'm sitting at corner Sixth and Scott, I'm not downtown.
Well, you're not in that tip, you're still downtown.
Well, I'm not in downtown per TIF.
What, they've got another term for it. Towns, city center, that area that wound up.
Isn't that 8th in Ohio or 8th in Indiana? Which one?
Stops at 8th, Jeff.
Yeah.
Tommy, I've always considered you more of an uptown guy than a downtown guy.
Yeah.
Or Motown man.
Okay?
Moten.
But I wanna clear that up about, this is all done by peers, Lee, Jeff, Mark, Judge.
Well, we didn't have that information,
Yeah.
so that
We
helps.
don't
That
have,
helps.
but it's called a customer service recognition award, it's awarded quarterly, and their peers vote on it, Lee, it had nothing to do with it.
I just make a motion to approve item 10 stated, and then
a good idea.
Okay, is that, but what that doesn't do is, so if we think having a department has it for their personnel, then that's good for all 30 departments.
That's what I'm saying, I'll come back with a plan to address all 30 additional departments.
Well, but-
in the county.
I'm a skeptical of that, simply because I don't, nobody except the forward-thinking group here put together that, and we're
Well,
at a premium here, and we're open up a can of worms and give away 30 parking spaces that
I'm not giving away-
nobody.
I'm talking one parking space here at the courthouse, one over at the annex additional.
So-
And we'll start,
So tax assessor is the only one that will have for their department.
we've already done it.
No, it was done incorrectly, just.
It was done incorrectly. I didn't come to court.
I'm just saying, I don't, that's concerning to me that, we're not looking at the total picture. While I can appreciate everything you've done, I'm just saying, our job is to try to make things work the same for everybody that we can. And, excluding one department that way bothers me.
I think if another department came to us and asked to do the same thing, we could, if they're over in the annex, we could put them a spot right beside Tony's spot. And
I don't
so
begrudge
they can-
anybody else for doing the same thing.
They may not, but I'm just saying, if they come and say, hey, this is a neat idea, and we wanna do that, then,
We do it.
I just want it to be fair for all. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of others come in and do that, other than the Cheshire cat smiling at the back of the room.
I'm sorry, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't. Sorry.
We need to have a bake sale or a car wash, pay for that sign, boys, I'll pay for it. Whatever we need to do, but the sign's been up since January, and we're here in May,
I'm sorry, hadn't seen it until I drove out of there the other day after doing my tags.
Is that why it's on the agenda?
Well, no, it's on the agenda, Commissioner, because we have a policy about the Commissioner's Court signs parking. And it wasn't assigned by the Commissioner's Court. But I did find that the Commissioner that looks over buildings for us in good faith did what he thought was a good idea. That's all.
All right.
So, if it's open to any department, I'm fine with it. If it isn't, I'm not, but you all can vote your own conscience on it. Okay. And let somebody, okay, Commissioner Beecham, you made the motion, would you restate it for me?
Yeah, I would make the motion to approve item 10 as stated, along with the caveat that I will come back with a plan to address additional departments. And there, with a employee of the quarter, employee of the month recognition for a parking space at the courthouse and one at the annex.
What about the substation?
If they want one at the substation, I don't think the substations are, the parking's right at the door, so. Unless, but we're talking at the new LEC facility, it's not
Okay,
open yet, we'll.
when the
we'll address
employees in
that
the
then.
tax office vote that an employee out in Idle Park gets that, are you gonna move, I'm teasing with you here, are you gonna move them downtown so they can enjoy their parking place? Or are we gonna move the sign?
She gets to drive a Uber back to our.
They get the plaque on their desk at that point.
Yeah, they get the traveling trophy. Kenny's got covered parking. I'm sure Pam parks somewhere up close, and Rhonda and Island Park's got good parking.
Except for that one space out there on
We'll designate that as the employee of the month parking.
the.
Yeah.
Okay. signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Aye. All right.
Before we get off that, just because I forgot to mention to y'all, the back 2/3 of the lot to Tommy's north is, the first third is bought from our friends at the, Judge, what's the name of that building?
Oh, right across.
I want to
the
say
street.
the Orchid,
The
but
bucket building or
the Atrium.
the atrium? No, atrium, yeah.
But the second, the remaining 2/3 is up for grabs at 730 grand. That, which you would acquire the building as well.
Which,
So the first third from the start of the property to the west,
I believe the lot where you're talking about.
the Bank One
The drive-through.
drive-through,
That checks.
yes.
It's on Sixth and Scott to the north of Tommy.
Yes, it doesn't, does it come all the way to the cross street? What's the intersection?
Comes to Lamar.
Lamar. So from Lamar to Scott, the first third of depth is Atrium bought. The 2/3 remaining, all the way over to Fifth Street, between Lamar and Scott, is for sale, which includes the bank building, 730 grand. So they're turning theirs into a parking lot. That's the game plan, do it. But, I mean, just, I had that scoop. I'd asked Tammy to get it for me, and she did, and I just didn't move quick enough. I'd love to have had that first third. But she said that she wouldn't say that it couldn't be had. She just said that they moved on it quick.
Well, at one time, the atrium leased spaces from us over there on
The,
Parking lot, county parking
the
lot.
east parking lot.
you know, what we could do is, you could take part of that lot and control that, and then we would have, you could park in there by paying the fee.
Do we have any parking meters?
I hope not.
It would give Juvenile and Tommy's some more too, and like you said, if there was a deal with the Atrium, come to maybe coexist on a parking.
We've got adequate parking, I think, now. I know.
We do.
I say the last 5 and the first 5 days of the month, it'll be more crowded, but I don't.
Well,
think the
we
rest of
still
that-
face a problem we've always had, and we can't solve it because of the street between our parking lot and our building, and that's always, I mean, there's just no answer for that.
No, and you don't clean up anything going to the north, I guess.
That's our biggest
And we
challenge.
took- We took car elevators out of that building.
And that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, you rode one of these, never ride it again.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was more convenient for that whole deal over there, Tommy, but you're gonna be divided from your parking no matter what. That's just the way it is. And, that's the biggest challenge of all this we've talked about, is that it's just not handy.
But
But no different from parking in that remote lot across from here.
no, but the only thing that could potentially better that parking that Tommy has to the east is a small decorative fence that comes across that front to keep people from, and I'm just as guilty, jaywalking.
It would help
the road.
funnel if we did.
It'd funnel them down to the corners, and not that it's, I mean, I don't guess anyone's been run over, but it could sure happen.
The reason why people are apprehensive about using the crosswalk at Sixth and Scott, because you pull up here to make a right-hand turn on red, you look back towards El Gordo's, they whip that wheel, and
Yeah.
they're standing in the middle of that crosswalk.
I agree.
It's
No.
dead down.
And this can be a problem right out here too,
Could
for
be a
us.
Problem at Lamar, because I rode it.
That's where I'm talking about,
Well,
Joe.
the guy looked left and decided to turn right, and luckily I saw him, and I just reached up and grabbed a hold of it. It was a van, so I could do that. And when he turned his head and saw me holding on and him pulling away, it got his attention.
I've got a judge on my bumper.
That's the points for that. All right.
Oh.
Now, item number one, review.
Where are we?
We barely got down to item one. And
Where am I? What are we doing? Let's pay our bills, Judge. Can I make a motion that we pay our bills? Yeah.
I will say that.
I lost
Any
track.
comments on the bills? Do you remember the court had a comment on the bills? Okay. Sorry, Lee, I just told you to skip that a while ago. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried 5-0. Item number two, discuss, consider, take action to award a contract for delivery of retail electricity to Reliant Energy Retail Services LLC for a 99-month term beginning first meter reading after October 1st, 2025, and ending on or about January 1st, 2034, and authorize the county judge to sign energy transaction confirmation fixed price and electric energy sales agreement as updated. Commissioner Watts?
Do y'all have the supporting documentation? Willie had put together our and I'm going to talk in some round numbers here, but one of the Kerry came in with a solid bid of just under 2.4 cents. And Reliant was at 2.54 or 2.58. Willie, I don't see the, bear with me 1 second.
You don't have information from all the different bidders, you just have the award?
I thought it was here. I do. Willie put it together.
You don't lock in a price until you sign the contract.
Yeah, it was a base, it's based, Lee, on when we signed, but the difference being with Reliant and TXU was TXU did not include their congestion charges into their 2.38 cents, and Reliant did carry their congestion charges, which is practically the difference from what we know our congestion charges to be. It comes out to that 1/100th of a cent and a half difference. And secondly, on top of that is Reliant gave us the option to extend that rate for 99 months. And Kerry and Andrea gave us 60 months, and Andrea's was outside by half a cent. She was outside the bid range, and Kerry and Reliant were neck and neck. The difference being is that historically, as we look at a couple of years of congestion, we could find that to tie those prices to be very similar. It's just that it's no guarantee. If something got crazy in the marketplace, congestion could go as high as the rate. Nothing holds it into place, and it has done that just in the past 4 or 5 years. Congestion has been in some parts of the year higher than the electric rate. And so to avoid that and to lock in for a 99-year solid payment, we've
99 months.
Do what? For 99 months, I'm sorry.
99 years.
Yeah, I say that every time. We decided to take the Reliant deal. Now, all three have waived their exemption to any overage or underage. So regardless if we went to 0 usage or doubled our usage, it doesn't trigger a change of rate or a adjustment in rate. And of course, it would be dependent on the scrutiny of the county attorney on the agreement, but which I think we should probably accept the rate and then move forward contingent on that, and to at least lock the rate.
Is that a motion there?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second. Let's get that going, Kelly.
Any comment, anyone in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
No, I would like to understand better what you're saying as far as Reliance rate for your 60-month was 0.02576, and you're saying that's fixed. And the fixed rate does, on TXU side, does carry the congestion charges. There is no pass-through on congestion. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the congestion charges go up to. It's a fixed rate for that X amount of terms. Now, as far as the TDU charges, you can't guarantee that they have to go before the PUC to get an increase as far as Encore on the distribution charges. That could happen 2 times a year. You can't fight that. That's a regulated charge. So we have a pass-through with Encore with no increase or markup. So it's the same regardless with who you go to. As far on our end, there is no increase or markups. So,
So what I just heard was that the Reliant deal included the congestion charges and yours didn't, but you're saying yours does.
ours does include, and it specifically states on the contract, it does include congestion charges for the term for 60 months on the fixed rate. Now, the TDU side, we do not guarantee
Right.
that.
Well,
because
nobody-
No one did carry,
Right.
but Willie, did you see that differently?
Yes, the sheet turned in with the proposal had the pass-through charges, congestion was a pass-through.
Pass-through. We have no, it's pass-through. We cover it. It specifically says it on the contract.
No. It said it was a pass-through, which means you pay it. It means the county pays it.
No, I'm sorry,
Well,
that does not
your
state
your RFP specifically stated. that-
no increases or markups on your fixed price. It includes congestion to the applicant or ERCOT load zone.
Okay, so the only difference, since they're both covered, would be the 60-month and the
30.
99-month.
33.
But let's look at the rate, 0.0257, and what is the TXU rate?
TXU rate is 0.02385.
It's 385 and
It's
7.
it's 1/100th of a cent difference. It's 0.0015, okay, is the difference in that. So, it's the math is $11,000 a year, difference is what it is.
$11,000 a year savings.
Correct.
Okay, so what we gotta look at is 60 months and 99 months.
So if a year's time, you'd be 125,000 roughly, I'm just rounding, but $125,000. You spend currently 500,000, that's gonna drop nearly by 60%. So you're probably talking about electric bill that's fallen down to closer to 300, 325 range annually. And you could shave off, in the course of a year, $100,000, and so in 5 years you could shave off $500,000, which would pay you a year and a half of electricity.
So let me see if I follow that. Well, so it's $11,000 a month savings if we go with TXU's rate.
For 60 months. Yeah. So you
Times
take the
60 months
savings.
Equals $660,000.
Mhm.
Okay? So
That
5
would,
years, we would save $660,000 over the Reliant rate. But how would we know whether or not after 60 months, 5 years?
no one can tell you that answer, Lee. You could pay for 2 more years, making Kerry's deal good for 7. But you could then be a toss-up.
Well, $660,000 is a lot of Tahoes. I'm just thinking.
It would pay for 2 years' worth of electricity. Which,
Wouldn't the bet on whether that 99 month is gonna be the better long-term?
the difference being, I think, Judge, is the unknown that we wouldn't know, and we're taking the gamble. 11,000 a month is only true if we hold our kilowatt per hour average annually. We're banking on the fact we're going to reduce it. I'm basing that $11,000 on historic usage today of 6.5 million. We're hoping that we can get that into the mid 4 million range, which in that instance, I'll just tell you what that's worth.
While you're looking, may I make another comment?
Yes.
As a dedicated business development manager for TXU Energy, not only will I continue to work for you, I'm here working for you continually. I keep an eye on the market continually. My job is to work for you and keep you with TXU forever, as long as I can. When the market is down, it's my job to contact you to let you know I've got this type of rate. When your contract expires, I can go out, as you know, several years in advance, to save you money. That's my job. That's what I do. And I'm pretty darn good at it. I've been doing it for about 11 years now. And I've got a real good reputation. I'm not going anywhere. I live right here in Wichita Falls. I service all the way up to Childress, to Munster, to Decatur, to Mineral Wells, and I take care of city and counties. That's my dedication to you. I will work hard for you, and anytime there's a rate that you'll be able to benefit and secure, I'm going to bring it to you. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Well, but now, you're not gonna do that while we're midterm in a contract, and rates go down, you're not gonna come in and revise that contract.
No.
She won't till
That would be a
2025.
blend and extend. It's like refinancing a car to me.
Right.
So I can secure, TXU will secure the rate. Once it's, when we offer it to you, we'll secure for when the contract expires. And it will automatically start up. Doesn't matter what the market's doing. Okay? You're very valuable to us, and we'd love to have the opportunity to work with you.
So the only way you lower a current rate if you're still under contract is to blend and extend then?
No, she doesn't have any ability to lower our current rate.
Oh, so
No.
even if you went out 4 more years?
She's talking about going out past 60 months, beginning at 2025.
A blend and extend would be the market would have to really drop really low, okay? And at any time, whatever option would benefit you is what option we would offer you.
Carrie,
And let you
how much
decide.
lower can the market go?
I don't
I mean,
have a
this is
crystal
ridiculous.
ball. It is,
It's ridiculously cheap.
Now,
it is.
here is one thing I think is important to state, that the market doesn't necessarily have to be exactly that. Carrie's company and Reliant are nuclear power generators. They are securing customers for that power. At some point in time, they may need that base to illustrate to someone about the reason to continue nuclear power generation. So not all companies have that ability. And so what they're doing is placing us under a similar umbrella of nuclear generation as a customer in an extended period of time that gives them capability to show that, you know, they are providers with that type power.
And we profile all of our customers and try to meet your needs and do the best that we can to help you and your communities.
At 4.5 million kilowatt hours, that savings a year would be $6,700. We hope that new power new equipment will allow us to change up the dynamic of what we use today. There's no specific guarantee, and Amoresco hasn't provided us yet that, but we're just surmising.
Jeff, in 5 years, it's still $402,000.
We're also gonna give you $12,500 in rebate dollars that will be available to you.
And Carrie, is that an annual basis, or is that a contract basis?
That's to start on your, when your contract starts. If you need it before, we can go and talk to them and see about how early we can offer it to you. But it's really high in demand with the market, the way it is right now. It's tight on those rebates. You can use those anytime, once the contract starts.
So what do you want to do, Jeffrey?
Well, maybe we need to do the math, let Willie look at, because we certainly understood the RFP to clearly show the congestion charges passed through to
It
us.
sounds like that's a terminology issue. She says pass through, that includes, and we read it, and Howard read it, same as Willie did, that it's passed through to the client.
Well, the Encore passes through too, so you have to see one of them one way and one of them different.
Well, Carrie, before you go, you need to point that out to Commissioner Wall and say, here's this, because I want to be sure the document you have, we're going to sign, there's not any question about that.
Right, it's a settlement charges for congestion. Let's say today, the market, Nova Market goes crazy. Anybody that is priced at a hub pricing will encounter those nodal charges, pass-through charges, okay? You don't know how much those will be. They're every month, it would be different. On a fixed rate that we're offering you, it includes, we take the hit, you don't. Doesn't matter what it is. It's fixed, unlimited usage to you.
That's pretty plain and simple. We just need to get that right, and then we can decide.
It's right here in your contract.
Do the math.
We just need to make sure that we understand the verbiage.
Yes, sir.
Because we apparently didn't.
That's okay.
So can we table this, Jeffrey? And come back next Monday with at least give us a
We can do
week
the-
to think about
do the math
what's
and-
really best for the county, whether it's the 60 month or the 99
Mhm.
month at this rate.
Yeah,
Okay.
that, I don't,
Motion to table.
Second. Well, there's no action. Carrie, thank you for coming today.
Thank you. And when would be a good time for me to get with Willie?
Right at the court.
Okay.
Okay, item number 3 is discuss and consider take action to approve the rental of a water truck for 364 from United Rentals for up to 3 months at a cost of up to $3,600 to be paid from Department 224 Supply and Operations budget to line determined. Commissioner Watts, do we have an agreement on that? Is that $3,600 for that whole period or per month?
it's per month, Judge,
Okay, there's a
and
difference there.
the,
I'll
we,
rent you mine half of that.
say that again?
Said I'll rent you my water truck for half of that.
We don't anticipate to need one that long, we just, if we don't get, last time when we did that grinding, we ended up in Lawton, after our, truck because there wasn't anything to be found here. And so I just wanted to get that prearranged. This is a 2,000 or 2,400 gallon single axle rental. The contractors keep them eat up, but he said anytime we can give him at least 2 week notice, they can respond, they just can't do it the day of.
Well, you can certainly use my water cutter if you need to transport 5,000 gallons. It's,
Well, and we fed out of yours last time. Donald brought it over and we pumped, because we have to haul water for, it works really well to do that. And we just fed our, not only ours, but Freeman's too, off of yours.
Only one of us is gonna be milling and chipping at a time, so certainly help y'all. And we would approve this, but you would have to spend it if you didn't have to.
Make a motion to approve that at $3,600 a month plus the review of the document by council.
Yes, I'd like to do that, and then that gives our option open. If we need to hold it, we can, and then we can get the boys talking and see what makes the most sense. Some of our stuff, Lee, on how do y'all do, and you have the same issue, but how do you keep from backing? Let's say Moeller hits Wolf. I can't make that turn with the water trailer. I get to the end of the road and,
They make them with all that farm equipment, trailers, sprayers, cattle pods.
well, at the detriment of all the stop signs, the road signs, and any end of culverts too. That's why we're eat up with that, and I just didn't know how pulling a trailer down there on some of that stuff.
We don't have a problem, we just don't do it. You gotta back the trailer out, we just back it out.
Instead of,
Well, I'll get them talking.
instead of waterproof cameras on the back of the trailer. Okay, is there a second?
Oh, I'll second. We can prove it, but it would be good to,
Barry, you do the same thing as Lee?
yeah, we've got a trailer too.
And-
You sure use it.
What do y'all do when, in them tights like that? Do y'all sometimes back out, or do you?
We've got a slide-in tank on the bobtail. If we're in a real
Oh.
time scenario, we nurse it and use it, but we've used our trailer on.
Well, is that a option? That's basically what I had,
Yeah.
that I got but do they make such an apparatus that slides in and has a drop bar that I plug on and?
Barry's got one, he probably lets you borrow it.
And it's a homemade deal. We just had tank and welded a bar on it. Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you just get a tank on a skid and put it in the tailgate of a dump truck
It works.
and plumb down? I mean, is that,
We do.
Is it gravity spraying or motorized spraying?
Set a pump on it, but usually gravity, if you've got
All
a
you need is gravity.
3-inch pipe, it'll run a lot of water.
Sure will.
So is that discharge nozzles, or are they not like a spray nozzle? They're more of a flattened piece
A
of,
hole with a little flat piece of metal under it that fans out.
Fans it out.
so y'all just kind of egg shape, or just kind of oval up a end of a,
Yeah.
like a nipple screwed in there
Yeah.
and flatten it
Well,
out?
with a piece of plate on it that paints it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The diffuser, exactly.
Exactly what it is.
Okay, well, this gives us an option so we can do, but I may check into that as well, because that might be more advantageous.
Yeah, and you know, maybe you need it for a month. I mean, if we got it approved, you.
Right, right,
Best management practices.
right.
Got a motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Muller to approve the item as stated, with review of the lease agreement by council. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 4, discuss, consider, take action on options, for lease purchase of a 2020 P164T truck tractor from Bruckner Truck Sales with a 3.65% financing through First National Bank, with the trade-in or sale of the 1999 Volvo truck with a tractor for a payment from the Joint Road and Bridge Capital Expenditure Budget, and authorize Precinct 2 Commissioner to sign the paperwork for option selected.
Judge, there is good news in this story.
Okay.
And the good news is, the Volvo will be gone.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I volunteered last week to take my cutting torch over there to the shop and cut the frame in two so we quit spending money on it. And I was somewhat serious, as a matter of fact. I think we bought that truck for $5,000-6,000. I don't know how many years ago, Willie, but it's a long time. And I bet we've spent $60,000 on it in the last,
3 years.
well, since I've been on this court, probably.
We've been that last 3 years.
Yeah, it's.
I was telling Barry earlier, and I don't really think he was necessarily trying to back out, but he was sure wanting to make a point that they thought they could flip our Volvo to Gilmore's for parts, and Gilmore wouldn't give them a bid on it. So then they turned around and went to the parts place down there at Dallas that has a lot of used truck equipment. They wouldn't buy it. They said that they just didn't need that model of truck, and that Barry, I told him, I said, there must be something not advantageous about that model of truck that nobody's carrying
I
to.
think we know what it is. I really-
So we can write the book.
I think we've discovered it. You know, here's where we were.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, here's where we are, Judge, and we're in this way on a lot of things, and when that discussion we had this morning about a guy that's been doing maintenance for us, that's really not doing well, and boy, it gets to be a problem with some of this over stuff. Every time that thing goes in the shop door, it's $5,000. I mean, it is, and up and up.
Yep, and up.
And that's what's killed us. Every time that thing goes in the door over there, it's $5, $6, $8,000, whatever. And it's just eating us. And we get it fixed and we get it out, I think, oh, well, it'll be different this time, but it's not. In about 6 months, it'll be right back over there with an electrical problem.
He told us that.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
You seconded when you said, just said.
Yeah.
And this is a sister to our other two, and it puts us in line, and it does give us a year change.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Harvey, to approve the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Saw that, Chris.
5-0. Okay, item 5, receive an update on the Law Enforcement Center project. I met with them last week. Things seem to be moving along the way they should be. We did, there is a problem on getting the electric hooked up.
Should be done this week.
Yeah, so, I think that will take care of it, so that the work at the office trailers and, for the construction site portion of it. That was the only thing they had that I recall hanging out there.
I listened in the best I could on that phone call on the meeting. Hard to hear.
Yeah.
We did get the fact that we're doing pouring concrete in areas H, F, and I, and for the casting beds as well for the tilt walls, so. Like one of the,
Well,
if you look at the forecast for this week, it's not looking good.
not looking too good, no. So, I did go through the safety briefing along with Captain Patterson, so, well, glad to do that. All right, well, we've all been waiting for, Mr. Hampton, discuss, consider, take action to approve the county treasurer's, report for February 2019, and authorize county judge commissioner to sign the affidavit certifying compliance, with section 114.026C.
Judge, before Bob started on that last note, was there an update after Spiegel spoke to us? I don't think Mark was here. Do we know the cost out at the
No,
annex?
last I heard Friday, we did not know the cost yet.
Okay.
For the garage.
Oh, from Gro-
No, for the fire yellow tagged on us out there too, the system like was downtown.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and so the same group is working it up for us though, right? They were speedy here apparently and did a good job, right?
Yeah, they got on it, got it. And seemed to be a good cost, wasn't.
What did that come in, Mark? I mean, I know you were guessing, but did it came in considerably less? Oh, okay. Wow, that's-
Changed a couple of times, I think 36.
Oh, okay.
It was part of that from what I originally thought.
All right, Mr. Hampton.
Are we ready? Oh, here we go. All right. Actually, I was gonna get Carrie to make this presentation, so. First of all, we're gonna look at our TSG printout. And, so you guys are, that's the reason you don't wanna do handouts, Barry, because you're, yeah.
Already on.
Anybody have any questions on that? The short story on that is we're 3% ahead of where we were the trailing 12 months, which is really a good report because we were down last month, and now we're 3% ahead of where we were February of last year. This is, the TSG report is always a month behind the printout that I gave you there on that spreadsheet. Any questions on that? Okay, your spreadsheet, you'll see where those green lines over on the left, yeah. Actually, it's the right-hand side. Gives you an idea of just a quick snapshot of the monthly income, interest income, and so if you look on that page 4 of 6, you'll see somewhere in the neighborhood of 116,000 just interest income for April. And you've had 3 significant CDs mature in the road and bridge section, and what I did with those, I just put them back into text pool. Because I think I talked to each one of you about upcoming expenses, and so far, we're getting about as much in text pool as we are putting them in a 1-year CD, so that's where that story ends. We just spent today $680,000. And so if we can
And that's without
cut
taking
back
off-
on some of our spending, we'll be okay, I think.
We have to set aside for all those new employee signs.
Well, you and I both know where that's coming from, but anyway. Okay, just so we're all on the same page, I'm sending out a wire. Oh, let's go to the jail, page 5 and 6. Okay, if you'll notice, we had 30 million come due in that treasury bill on April 25. Okay, I put 10 of that 30 in tax pool and 20 million we put in an August treasury bill. That's, interest on that is 2.4%. Simply because we're paying out a lot of money right now, and I think it's just gonna get faster and faster.
Yeah, that's a good start.
If you look on page 6, you'll see that we've paid out $5,054,876.75. Along with that, we had, in the month of April, which will be reflected next month, we've already paid out approximately $2.5 million.
Got a new payout this morning, I have not had a chance to review it, so.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that because I got this morning, and they want a wire for $1,221,592.37. I've been told that this has already been approved on the court. Okay. I couldn't find it on the court, but
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, okay. So that's the second wire of over $1 million that we sent to. Good. It's just very, very important though that all of us are working together on this because that ACH, I hate them, I don't want to do them, but I was told to do them and that's cool.
That's the way it's done today, Bob.
You're talking to an old guy.
I understand. I'm the same way, but.
Once that ACH, you guys need to know this, this is a big problem down in our conference. Once that ACH goes out, the ability that I have of retrieving that money, if this is a fake deal, is zero.
This ain't a fake deal.
Okay, but there has been an instance
Yes,
that was done.
in the Republic of Harris County.
Yeah.
Yes.
A bill came in from the contractor that had a new, a bank account number that they sent it to. It wasn't the same bank account, but they got the bill, it was a different bank account, it just went that way. So if we're looking, oh, this is not the same bank account we've already sent it to, let's ask the question.
Well, and that's my point. I just want to make sure that all of us, including Willie and Nancy and everybody knows what's going on. So that's my goal, is to make sure you guys
But
know.
had Harris County followed their agreement,
No, they got it back, thanks to the county treasurer, who then was defeated. But anyway, good friend of mine.
but that should have never happened. Obviously, they didn't get the notice per the contract, is what I understood on that deal.
Yeah, and I'm not here to critique that, Judge.
Yeah,
I'm just going to tell you, well, I wish Hampton would just go on and just do what he's told to do and not, but I'm going to be.
Nobody said that.
I'm going to be, I'm just telling you, I like to have a lot of minutia.
Do you still have a
Because
flip phone?
this is serious money. Of course, you know me, $1.98 is serious money to
Do
me.
you still have a flip phone?
Yes, you bet. And I still yell into it, talk louder.
Bob,
Yes, sir.
on the long-term investment asset of
Yeah.
where you've laid that money, when I look at interest income,
Yes.
is that for a period of time or is that for the month?
What-
On page 5 of 6,
Okay.
right above the disbursements.
Oh, the long-term invested money.
Yeah, when I look,
That
that's,
is what that is, that's your interest income that will mature on, for example, the one that matured in April, we cleared $662,025.
but it's for a year's worth of investment.
No,
Interest
no,
income.
that's what we got in the
Okay,
pocket.
how long was that period of time? that
Uh,
money
It was a year.
Well, that was a year investment, yes.
Okay, so it earned that kind of money across the year.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
But see, like the one below it, approximately 180,000.
Yeah, for
Okay,
6
that's
months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge, that
So-
payment 3 for $1,200,000 was approved April 15th.
April 15th. Okay, Thank you, Nancy.
So we've gone 2 weeks since the approval of that.
Well, you know what, Judge, I may have overlooked that completely, but I'm not doubting what you're saying, Nancy. If you told me a rooster would pull a freight train, I'd hook him up.
You're headed in the right direction.
Okay, that sure helps me though.
Okay.
All without leverage.
So the notifications, when that's, the minutes come out, and that does come out for approval for a week, but did we send anything, or should we maybe start sending after the meeting that's approved, send that, as soon as you get a CO number assigned to it?
I send the minutes to a group of people.
Yeah, and I'm cool with what I've been getting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just here to tell you, I'm gonna tell you every time. And I wanna make sure you guys understand what we're sending out. And I also want you, you know, boy, we had an hour-long talk about wire transfers. Whew. I mean, my hand was shaking. Once it leaves, we are SOL.
How do we do that, Bob? Do we call American National? Is that who's doing the transfer for us?
I fill out a form, I fax it over to American National, they send the wire out the same day.
Is there any,
That is if I can get to them before noon.
well, is there any
Our bank's 3 o'clock, you can send it out after 3.
protocol for that? I mean, is there some safety checks that go on in that process that,
They do whatever I fax them.
I see.
But for our first pay out, I understand it was.
But the reason I'm very, very careful.
It was lost in a in somewhere in Alabama, it took a check for about $1 million and took time to find where it was at.
Hmm.
Well, we mailed it to the.
We mailed it to the right address and
Yeah.
it just sat on someone's desk and they kept asking for it.
Oh, the junk mail?
Not thought it's whatever, I don't know, but it ended up being, it was where it was supposed to be,
Yes, sir.
but no
So,
one had ever.
you
bothered
sent a check.
to-
Why don't we let Mr.
Check
Hampton
out,
get out of here
right.
and see if he can get that transfer done?
But be expecting another one next Monday, another pay out.
Okay.
So it'll be-
Well, I make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried 5-0. Thanks, sir.
And you had a question last time about arbitrage on this and we're way,
Yeah.
we're way behind on
It'd be
that.
nice if we were close, but it's not. Okay, anyone in the audience have anything to say? Okay, Commissioner Beecham?
Good conference last week, probably the best one I've attended. Learned a lot, met a lot of new people. Glad I got to go down. Did run for the board of directors for West Texas, they told me I didn't quite have enough experience time in court, so.
They don't know who you are. We should.
Well, they don't know I am now.
I should have wrote there and made them.
Well, that was all, Mark, part of the process. That helps to
No,
get
they-
identified.
They know who I am now, and 2 years from now, I fully expect to be serving the board,
I
so.
heard that. Good representation from Wichita County.
We need it up here in this area, we need a good medium-sized county on the board.
They just don't want to do this. That's all it is.
Fun, gives me more chance to learn. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Beecham? I'm sorry, Harvey?
Say that again?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
well,
looking at your name there when I was, no telling what I wrote on my slide.
we had our helicopter hog hunt for the veterans this weekend. It went real well. We had some winds that didn't allow us to fly as much. So we only killed 556 hogs and 72 cows. Jerry Bob Daniels is a little upset that we shot that many cows because he likes to hunt with his grands, but anyway.
Yeah, we listened to that story 2 years ago,
We were given
and we killed over 100 that time.
152.
Yeah.
He had a cow, yeah. Anyway, it went real well. We had Major General Pat Doherty, the commander of the 19th Air Force, come from San Antonio at Randolph Air Force Base. And came, him and his wife, and his command chief and his wife came. And they both spoke, both the chief and the general spoke. And Saturday night, on Sunday night, we had a 3-star general. Friday night, we had a 3-star general, Lieutenant General Brown, which was a very good speaker. He does really good stuff, very interesting. We didn't have any accidents, nobody got shot. You know,
They'd already been shot once.
you know, some of them had, yes, sir. We had one boy, he was burnt from head to toe. My heart went out to him. You know, he had a great attitude. He got up and spoke to the crowd. This is just a really good weekend. A lot of work, but well worth it. Coming up on this Thursday, we have a Redneck Culinary Academy that's serving lunch to Patsy's house. We do this every year for those folks. Feed about 100 people. We always have a good turnout. RCA guys, we really like to support Patsy's house, and I look forward to doing that. Other than that, that's it, boss. Right now.
Mr. Moore?
We have budget discussions on Thursday morning
Yes, sir.
at 10:30.
Yes, sir.
Not a lot other than just a great hunt for the veterans. That the weather was so much better this year than it was last year. But those of us that have been involved in that, was this really the 6th one, Lee,
Well, it wasn't the 6th one.
that we've done? We've done 4.
We've done 4. They did 2. The first 2 they were in
different locations.
in Enos. Yeah.
There probably wouldn't be a Redneck Culinary Academy if it wouldn't have been for that first hog hunt.
That's correct.
When that got started. And Lee Harvey took that upon himself to organize, and he continues to do that. And those of us that participate in that realize that he not only provides the headquarters for that organization with a lot of his own equipment and a lot of else.
Quit talking about me.
Well, I'm just telling you that it matters, and it wouldn't be
does.
there if it wasn't for
Makes a
him.
big difference.
He's the one that all that responsibility falls upon. So I probably decided when I was up there was a real good chance that you didn't come away from there with a hog hunt cap, and I wanted to make sure you had one as a token of our appreciation for taking care of that. Thank
How
you.
come I didn't get one of these at the ranch?
Thank you, Lee. I
That's
wanted to make
cool.
sure you had
They've
one.
been stretching that way.
Oh, look at this, on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, look on the back. That's what's cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
I wanted to make sure you had
Did
one.
y'all hide these from me?
Yes, we did. And just tell you, thank you for what you do. It's not easy.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, thank you.
So anyway,
I can give this to my dad.
yeah,
You know, he'll take it from me.
one way or the other.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's all
thank you,
good.
Barry.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mr. Watson?
The precinct 5 and precinct 2 dump trucks have been delivered. Donald's picked those up and underway getting our decals moved over. And
Well, also, Jeffrey, we're putting CD radios in those trucks that go to the leasing.
yeah,
They direct their trucks from their, I think you go to channel 4 or something.
Right.
So there's a sign, and they tell you what to do.
yeah. And Donald had told me that we left the antennas on our other ones because leaves a hole when we don't. So I told him, leave them, don't pull them off there, and we just get new antennas because I didn't
We don't
know.
want to hold. I
So,
think they do have a plug for that, but it all leaks.
must not work good or
I'm not saying
something.
they leak, so
Yeah.
I think.
But we're having somebody put them on us, don't they? I mean, we don't do it.
No, hold phone jack.
Okay. Because I figured they're putting them in the better location for the,
Well, they know how to get it grounded.
and Donald said he likes the bigger one, or little taller or something, antenna different than what them had, so we,
I'll let Dwayne and him argue about that,
okay.
or decide.
So, but I thought that was a great idea, so. anyway, but we have taken those, and then, we're in, possession of our
Barry Waller?
work truck has been delivered as well, so,
One of these
we're,
years, I might have a dump truck.
Okay, do we have?
Mark,
I've
that's-
got-
Are you kidding me?
US truck, the only one I've got a contract, I don't recall.
now, that's 2 and 5, Judge, is that from, First National?
That's all. And
Don't
maybe-
sign that one yet. It was supposed to be, can I look at that?
Yeah, yeah, maybe this is a separate.
Did they deliver that this morning?
Wow.
Yeah, he brought it in.
Yeah,
But I-
he was supposed to
I didn't know
come
if that
see
was
me.
through Meredith yet or not.
No, it hasn't, it needs to,
Can't drive it.
yeah, this is 2 different ones, Judge.
Okay.
This is for those 2, but Meredith needs to review this for you,
Okay.
look at it. So, that's what it
Well,
is.
that young man was hoping to get that back today.
Yeah, this is swapped,
They
yeah.
have mags
You gonna
for
take that
years,
to Meredith?
everybody
Last
else.
time I saw that stack.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
right.
I'll run it down.
I didn't know
All
that.
right.
Real quick,
Yeah.
tomorrow, we have a budget hearing at,
Today we do also.
No, no.
No, sir.
Well, it's just I put it on there because you
Oh,
put it on the
yeah.
top.
Oh, okay.
It's tomorrow.
I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 10 o'clock,
Okay.
and I'm supposed to speak at Rotary at noon.
What if the doctor tells you you can't do?
Then I'll just not go to Rotary, come back to court. So is the deal gonna be we're gonna meet after lunch also tomorrow for budget?
If you want.
Well, I'm just asking the court, what's our plan?
The schedule is for morning, but we got the option, to, if I understood it, to,
We could go into the
could
afternoon.
go into that now.
I don't have anything tomorrow afternoon, I just wanna know what we were gonna do, so.
I do tomorrow afternoon.
You got some stuff to
You know,
do.
kindergarten roundup.
And let me get with
Um,
my tax assessor collector. I really enjoyed sitting down and doing that with Nikki and Tommy last year. I made it so easy. I mean, we just told Nikki that really did good, so I still need to do that, so I can present that.
what is the, overall agenda for tomorrow? I mean, what does that look like?
Well, general discussion at 9 o'clock, if,
Starts at 9, runs to 11.
yeah,
It-
that's Children's Aid Society, Patsy Chowdhury.
Have those all confirmed, Nancy?
Helen Therapy, Foster Parents in the Kitchen, and then on Thursday, general discussion, beginning at 10:30, Child Welfare Board, and we don't have anybody else after that. And then, that's Thursday, I'm sorry, then Wednesday, we have general discussion at 9, Health District and Child Advocates. But not anything this afternoon, unless, Willie, do you have anything for this afternoon we need to come back for or not?
Unless the court wants to meet, I've got a lot of questions that are gonna come up, so.
That you have pending on your table, or that you're thinking about?
The court needs to start thinking about.
Yeah.
What do we
Well,
want
what
to,
direction we're gonna go on
just-
payroll, what direction we're gonna go with, maybe some guess.
Yeah, if we come back at 2, I need to go sign some paperwork.
okay, yeah, that'd be okay with me, and we can at least get Willie started down a path, and
Yeah.
We're talking today,
Yes.
2 o'clock today.
2 o'clock.
But other than that, it's all pretty much outside agencies this week, the way I see
Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you all, I've asked CAP to look at a rotor for us. Okay? I wanna put it in, of course, precinct 5, I can put it in precinct 2, but it
can you
doesn't-
go look at mine, Lee, too? You know, I own some that don't get the work they need. I've got 2 fairly new ones.
Rollers.
A rubber tire and a steel wheel that Bill bought pretty late before he left, but
Yeah.
that just, the last time we was out there on Huntington, then got delayed and the mice got into us. I had to get the cat out there, but I'd a lot rather than be traveling than parked out yonder.
Well, okay.
So look at them and
We
see.
we had a bit of a problem borrowing those from Bill. He did not
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So,
But
That problem
let's,
is gone.
yes, that problem is solved.
let's, look at them, just make sure you know what I'm setting on compared to
Okay.
what you're doing, so.
What we would like to get is a roller, which is a vibrating roller, that has a sheet foot and a steel wheel.
Yeah, I don't,
You just swap out.
yeah, mine make and swap, but I don't have the sheep, I
Well,
know.
what I'm saying is, that's what we're looking at.
Okay.
So,
Well,
we just need to.
Do those change, do y'all know
Yeah, you can order
if
it.
mine changes though? Do you know if?
I don't know if that's a I think you have to have a machine that's capable of changing, I think. Wouldn't you think so, Judge?
yeah, you gotta have the right kind of disconnect, and you gotta
And
have
the vibrating.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think
That
mine's.
seems like a major undertaking.
So apparently it's not, some kind of white bar's gotta come off. I'm going from a steel wheel roller to a sheet wheel.
Steel
Now it's
wheel
not
has a
that.
white one.
It has some kind of white bar that just unpins off of there.
And probably a water bar.
Is there like stands that go down that lift your front end up
Yeah,
to?
there is.
Okay.
It's one stand, I think, it's very big, in the center, you just pick it up, you undo the roller, pick up the machine till it clears, you roll it out of the way and roll the other one in, set the machine down, it only moves about that far.
Hmm.
So, but anyway, we're looking at that, we do not have a roller with a cab on it, air conditioning.
Well, mines do have that, but now they may give up those other functions, I don't know. But both of my rubber tire steel wheel are air conditioned cabs.
Right, we don't have anything but open top, and they're about 40-something years old, so. They don't, their paint's not even yellow
Well,
anymore.
we had one that ruined a tire every time we ran it. I don't know if it's still around.
Yeah, it's still around, Barry. We fixed that one.
No, I fixed it. I took that thing apart and put the right size bearings in it. It kept, what happened was, they put the wrong bearing in it, and the tires would rub together. They rub together and they'd blow out.
Yeah, blow the sidewall out.
And we couldn't figure it out. Finally, I took that thing apart and got the right bearing. What do you say?
But that
We'll
is,
go eat.
pain.
Okay, I talked to Commissioner Beecham, and he thinks he'd like